Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 401 of NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. Thank you for checking out today's video. Got a lot of questions here from spring.me/AaronRift, so let's get right down to it. First one today comes from Lava Lara. Aaron, do you think that pushing the tag team division has led to an increase in the overall quality of WWE's product? I would agree with that to a degree. I think that improving the tag team division has definitely helped WWE, but I think that that's just one of several issues that WWE could work on. I think that you could also improve the Divas division, and I think in general you could improve the writing. To this day, I still think the biggest issue in WWE right now is the writing. Not planning things out long term, booking on a week-to-week basis, changing plans all the time. I think that WWE really needs to work on that and have more compelling storylines that have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you need to have storylines where you listen to the audience and you deliver what they want to see. So I think that that's the main thing you need to work on. But absolutely, I think WWE's been doing tremendous with the tag team division. And you got a lot of tag teams now, more than I think they've had in a very long time. I mean, you got something like 9 or 10 different tag teams. It's crazy right now. It's hard to even keep track of it. And there was a period a couple years back when there was only like 2 or 3 tag teams. So definitely they've gone in the right direction with the tag teams. All right, this next one comes from Anti-PG Fan. When asked about the PG era, do you give your own personal opinion or do you just tell us what Vince McMahon would say? Without taking sponsors into consideration and politics, as a fan, how do you feel about it? To be honest, it doesn't really bother me that much whether the rating is PG or TV-14. I think that as a fan, my only real issue is the lack of blood. I think that blood can really add dramatic effect to a match. For example, WrestleMania 13 with Steve Austin and Bret Hart. Part of the story there was Steve Austin busted open and he's in the sharpshooter and he's got this blood pouring down his face. Imagine that without the blood. I think that the story wouldn't have been nearly as effective. So I think that when used properly, blood can really add to a match. And also, it's a matter of suspension of disbelief. When you're watching a wrestling match and you're supposed to think that it's a real fight, if it was a real fight, there would most likely be blood. So, I mean, blood is important, I think, when used in moderation. Obviously, when it's done all the time, it's not necessary. And as far as profanity goes, same thing. And, you know, they still throw out a bitch or an ass every now and then, but constant profanity, it's just not necessary, and it's not a good substitute for solid writing. And going back to the first question, you know, the writing is the main issue, and you don't have to have a TV-14 rating to produce quality writing. So, you know, that's still the main issue, and it's not so much the rating that's the issue. All right, this one comes from October's Own Ace, or October's Own Ace. There we go, October's Own Ace. Do you think superstars should get more creative control in their characters and storylines? Absolutely, and this also ties into the other questions as well. I think that it's a negative when you have the writers scripting out every aspect of the show. And there's been several Raw scripts from last year that recently leaked out. And you can see with the promos that just about every single line is scripted. And I think that you need to shy away from that. And when you script everything, the wrestlers come off as very robotic. And I think that you need to let them have more creative control and have some say in their own storylines. I think that alone would improve the quality of the storylines, and the characters would be more interesting, and you know, they would have more dimensions. So I think you need to go back in the other direction, you know, prior to the Attitude Era. Although even in the Attitude Era, they still let the wrestlers have some creative control. And there's been scripts that have leaked from like 2000, and you could see in the promos that there's basically just bullet points, and you know, the wrestlers just have to get certain points across and they can present it however they want. But now you basically have to memorize an entire promo, and I'm sure there's a few exceptions. A few of the top guys can go out there and just wing it. But yeah, it really does affect the product when everything's so heavily scripted. All right, this one comes from Joe Ao Philippe 315. Hey Aaron, do you think Evolution will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? I think they will, so Triple H can satisfy his ego by becoming a 3-time Hall of Famer by himself with DX and Evolution. Greetings from Portugal. I definitely see it as a likely possibility. I don't think it's going to happen in the near future. I think that first we'll see DX go in, and then maybe down the line, and I'm talking about maybe 10, 15 years down the line, we could see Evolution get a Hall of Fame induction. Absolutely. With Batista and Randy Orton going in as well. But, that's going to happen when Randy Orton is at the end of his career, and that's the point where they'll put him into the Hall of Fame as a member of Evolution. But I definitely see it happening at some point. Hey, Aaron, who was the biggest star of all time? Stone Cold, The Rock, or Hulk Hogan, or the cat messing with the Christmas presents? This is a really tough question to answer. You have to look at it in different ways. As far as just pure box office in WWE, as far as who made the most money for the company, when you look at the numbers, I believe that Steve Austin was the biggest draw in WWE history. He set records with the pay-per-view buy rates, and the live attendance was at its highest, on a regular basis. Average attendance was at its highest when Austin was on top. And, everything from the pay-per-view buy rates to the live attendance, merchandise. Nobody sold more merchandise than Steve Austin. So on that level, I think you have to go with Austin. As far as longevity in the wrestling business and the guy who was perhaps best associated with professional wrestling, you would go with Hulk Hogan. I think to this day he would still be the most well-known professional wrestler in the world. You ask any random person on the street to name a wrestler, I think that you would get Hulk Hogan named more than anybody else. But then when you look at it from a mainstream perspective and somebody who is well-known around the world, you might have to go with The Rock because of his success in Hollywood. I think that more people on planet Earth probably know who Dwayne Johnson is than Hulk Hogan or Steve Austin, because of the fact that he's this huge movie star and he's broken out of the WWE universe, and he's a household name worldwide because of his movies. So, you can argue for all three. It's definitely a tough call. All right, this one comes from Wraith Wolf 007. Who is your favorite announced team for calling the action? Mine would be Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, as I felt they worked well and played off each other. Just don't get good play-by-play anymore. Well, I think I would have to go with Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. I think that when they were at their peak, they were the best commentary team in the wrestling business. Jim Ross was just a tremendous play-by-play guy, and nobody could really touch him. And when Jerry Lawler was, at the top of his game, he was a great color commentator, and he was extremely entertaining. But yeah, Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan were tremendous. And you look back at the 1992 Royal Rumble, they were the perfect announce team for that match. And I also liked Gorilla Monsoon and Jesse Ventura. I thought that those two had a lot of chemistry together. And, I have some fond memories of the early WrestleManias. And, that was just a great commentary team. You had Monsoon defending the baby faces, and Jesse Ventura was always behind the heels and ripping into Hulk Hogan. And, I loved it. I thought that they were a tremendous duo. All right, this one comes from Mr. Sep EV. Hi, Aaron. Do you think that CM Punk would have been as big of a star as he is today if he wasn't for the crowd at Money in the Bank 2011? Okay, your question, let me repeat this. Hey, Aaron, do you think that CM Punk would have been as big of a star as he is today if it wasn't for the crowd at Money in the Bank 2011? Absolutely, I think that he would have been a huge star in WWE. I think that he was well on his way. And if you go back to the old NoDQ&As from early in 2011 when there were the rumors that he was going to be leaving, people were asking me, is this as big as CM Punk is going to get? And I said, No, I think that CM Punk's best days are ahead of him. And, I ended up being right about that. I sensed that CM Punk was going to be a big star in WWE. And definitely the pipe bomb sealed the deal for him and made him a top superstar. But, that was planned out. WWE planned to have him go out there and do that pipe bomb. And they knew it was going to get a big reaction. So, WWE already had their mind set that they were going to go all the way with CM Punk and try to make him a breakout star. So they had this well thought out. So it's not like it was something that was unplanned and he went out there and, he just got lucky and happened to be a huge star. It was, WWE's intentions to make a big storyline out of this and try to get CM Punk, at the top level in WWE. All right, this one comes from Kayfabe Candy Ass. What do you think of Damian Demento's YouTube crap back in 2008, 2009? Was he shooting or just being a dumbass? I found Damian Demento's videos to be very entertaining back during that period, and I think he was just trying to capitalize on the fact that he got his name mentioned on the 15-year anniversary Raw, and they showed the video clip from the first Raw with him and Undertaker, and he just decided to take advantage of it, and I think he was just trying to play a character there, and be an internet troll, and it was very entertaining. So I'm sad that he didn't do more of that stuff, but it was definitely fun when it lasted. All right, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. Make sure you check out the NoDQ.com year-end award videos that I did with Jeff Meacham, and keep voting in the polls. Before I sign off here, I got one more question from Dr. Knockers 4. Hey Aaron, first-time questioner. I know a lot of people ask about Dolph Ziggler and how WWE is underutilizing him, but now that he's lost the #1 contendership for the IC title to Fandango, what's left for him? Or is WWE just going to keep burying him? As much as I would like to say that Dolph Ziggler will get a renewed push in 2014, I think the odds are against it happening. I think that unless somebody gets seriously injured or if a number of people get suspended, I think that Dolph Ziggler is going to be stuck in mid-card hell, as they say. WWE gave Dolph Ziggler a push. He won the World Heavyweight title. They've pushed other guys like The Miz and Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger, and then they've given up on those guys. And WWE already has their top main eventers. They have John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and then they have the younger talent that they're focusing on right now. I think in 2014 they're going to be focused on guys like Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. Those are the guys that WWE's going to be pushing in 2014. So I think that for people like Dolph Ziggler, they're in a tough spot right now. I don't know if he's going to ever get the kind of push that he got in 2013. And, that's a shame because we all saw the kind of reaction he got when he won the world title. And he should have been a top-tier guy from that point forward. So I don't know what's going to happen with him, but honestly, it's not looking good for him right now. So sorry to end the video today on a downer, but that's just how I see it, and hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Dolph Ziggler gets another push in 2014, but not going to bet on it. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time for another edition of No DQ&A video.